Hello everyone, I'm Buford MC, and welcome back to another episode of GregTech New Horizons. So, we've just now entered into the Steam Age recently, which is tier 0.5, and we're going to try and start working our way through it. But before we can actually get into the Steam Age, we need to start preparing. And to start that preparation, we need to tackle one problem that we've been having for a long time since the beginning of the pack, and that is water. As we all know in this pack, water is not infinite. There's no infinite water source blocks. However, we do have an option that we can take on, and that option is this water tank right here. And that's what I want to cover today. So, let's get right into it. So the reason we need water is for a couple of things. Obviously, we do use it for some crafting recipes. We use water buckets to use a few things, and we also use water in cauldrons to clean off some ores. But we also recently made this small coal boiler, and to actually get steam out of this thing so that we can begin the steam age, you can't just slap it down and expect to get steam. That's not how it works. Instead, we need one of two things. We need a fuel source to heat it up, and we need some water, which the heat is going to use to turn it into steam. So we need a way of getting a lot of water. And obviously, I could just go around and, I've got a couple of buckets. I could just go around, get some buckets, fill this thing up with water, and we're good to go. Unfortunately, that's kind of a painful process, so we're not going to do that. Because we have much better options, like this water tank here, which we're going to make today. So, that's what we need to get on with. We need to start preparing to actually get into the Steam Age before we go into the Steam Age, because we do need to make some kind of developments around the base. So, to break this thing, by the way, you do need to use a wrench. And this is why I'm on the roof of our base today, because this is where our water tank is going to go when we actually make it. So, I had a little bit of a look around the chunk boundaries, and with the way I kind of built this room and I extended this area out a little bit over here, it's kind of left us a little bit cramped with the chunk boundaries, because you don't want your multi-blocks to cross chunk boundaries. But I think we've got just enough room to put a tank right about here, I think. Now, as you can also see, I've got some new things here. So these are some dungeon lamps as well, and I put them on both sides of the base over here. These came from that loot games we did a little while ago, and they actually add on some light kind of, to the top. So if we head on down, you'll see we get a little bit more light here. So originally, we just didn't have much light here in the center kind of area, just because we didn't have anything on the top. And I didn't want to put torches on the floor. I just didn't think that'd look good. But yeah, so that's kind of something we've got. So, let's get kind of into making this water tank, because this is going to help us in so many different areas, I think. Now, in order to make it, let's go to the quest, which is going to be in the multi-block goals tab. And it's going to be this one right here, the water dilemma. Now, we've already got some of this stuff done, and I've actually already been working towards a little bit of this. So, the first couple of parts of this quest are related to sticky resin. Now, for us, that's not an issue. We've been gathering it by chopping down rubber trees since the beginning of the game. We've got over 2 stacks. We have no shortage of that stuff. However, part of this quest also has us making this thing called a tree tap, and you have to do this. It's a required part of the quest to make the tree tap, and you have to craft it. Now, to make this, it's not that difficult. It does look a little bit difficult in a way because you need different types of wooden fluid pipes, but this is just a bunch of wood. So, a little bit of wood to make the large pipe. You get some wood to make these. This is a soft mallet and a saw. It's just different configurations, really. So, yeah, that's how you make this thing. You also use a wood screw, which is just stick, stuff like that. Not too difficult. So, I do want to show you a little bit about this, because I have been working to make a couple of changes to our rubber tree area so that we can produce more sticky resin if we need it, because, it's good to have more. So as you can see over here, there's actually been a couple of changes. I have removed I've removed the leaves. I haven't moved the trees, but what I've done is I've kind of shifted things around here. So I've been doing kind of some testing on some of these trees, and what we've got are kind of some of these like totem pole looking tree things now. So I've removed all the leaves. So over here what we've got is the iron scythe. And what I basically do is I inspect some of these trees. So the ones with leaves still need to be inspected, and what I do is I break the leaves, and I come around and I look for these kind of little nodes right here. And what these are you use the tree tap on them. So if I have my tree tap and I right click on it, I get some sticky resin, which is quite nice. And what I want is, I want to have these things have at least 2 of those nodes. And as you can see, this one only has 1. So it's not going to pass my examination. And we're just going to chop it down and we're going to try again. So we're going to plant the sapling back. We'll try that one again. So over here on this one, we have 1, 2. This one actually has 3, so this is quite good. It is nighttime as well, so let's go to sleep. And basically, this is what I've been doing all the way down here. I've just been kind of working on this, and once we get a tree that has at least 2 of those nodes, I keep it. If we don't, I chop it down, and we try again. So let's take a look at this one. And this is what the iron scythe is for. It just helps to remove all the leaves really quickly. So this one right here, we have 1 there. We've only got, looks like we only have 1 on that one, so just so this doesn't go to waste, we can take this one, and then we chop it down, and we try again. So I basically just keep going down this process. Now, the ones that have a torch on top are the ones that passed the examination. So these are the ones that we're keeping. So we're keeping those right now. And this one, let's see what we've got. So there's 1 there. And it looks like only 1 again, so we'll just take that, chop it down, and try again. So you don't always get 2. It does take quite a bit of work. Now, I should also point out with these over here, you do have these grow back over time. So they will return after you kind of tap into them once. So they don't go away forever. They do grow back. So that is one thing to keep in mind. So this is just an endless source, really, of sticky resin over time. So let's see. We've got that one still to examine. Let's take a look. Oh, we've got 2 of them, actually. So far, there's 1. And looks like only 1 again. So let's take you. And let's chop you down. And plant that back. And so far on this one, we have none. So you get taken out, and we plant that back. So yeah, if you take a look at these over here, this one has 2 right here. Now, the only kind of painful thing about these tree taps is they don't have much durability. So when you try to craft it, it only comes with 16 durability, which really isn't much. So if you probably noticed it though, but I have a barrel over there, and I can go back and show you once we break this one at least. Just grab some more sticky resin just in case. That one's only got 2, that's fine. There we go, so that one broke. So what I've actually done is I kind of made a barrel here, and I made a bunch of these things, and I'm storing them in a barrel. So this one only holds them if they've got at least full durability. So what I do is I just, I've got a couple of them in here. We come back down here. We can start kind of tapping into the trees again to get more sticky resin. Let's see, did I get the one over here? Yep, I got that one. Got that one. Okay, this is the one we're gonna get. And you do get quite a bit of sticky resin from these as well. I mean, we've tapped into only a couple of these. We've got 41, so this is quite good. This is quite a good way of getting a lot of sticky resin. Originally, we got it from just chopping down the trees normally. But you don't get as much that way. But we've been doing it for so long, we've accumulated quite a bit. But yeah, so we've gotten all of our active trees. This one has 3, which is quite good. But yeah, we've got 51 now, so that was quite good. Ooh, this one's also finished growing, so let's see if this one's gonna stick around or not. Doesn't look good. Oh, well, it does have 2 of them on this side, so this one is gonna pass. So when a tree passes my examination, I build up to the top, break those leaves on top, and these are spawnable blocks on the top, so what I do is I just put a torch on top, and that kind of marks it off as a past kind of tree trunk. And we'll take this as well. If I can reach it. Oh, that's alright. I can go and get that. And now we can go back the long way, I guess. And when I'm done with this one right here, you can't just throw this back in the bale because it does need to be at full durability to be able to stack with the other ones. So I just put it in here, and then I put the site back in here as well. And I'll keep working on this until all of these trees are basically got at least 2 of those little nodes on them. So I'll keep working on those other trees at some point. But that's going to be how we get our sticky resin for now. Eventually, once I continue working over in our little crop breeding area, we should be able to get that stickweed crop, and we won't even need those at all anymore. So this whole area will be repurposed at some point over there. But for now, that's our best way of getting sticky resin. Because over here, it's going to take a while probably to get to what we need. So, now that we've covered the sticky resin aspect of things, let's get into actually making the water tank for today. And let's eat a little bit. Now, speaking of food, I've actually been working on that a little bit. So we've got some pretty nice foods in here now. So I made some banana nut bread. I made some waffles, some pizza, some cheeseburgers, large cheese sandwich. We've got some pumpkin pies. That was a quest we had to do. I did that one. And as you can see, these do give you quite a few different nutrients as well. So this one gives you dairy, fruit, grain, and protein. Dairy, grain, and protein. Dairy, grain, protein, and vegetable. We get some dairy, grain, and protein there. Dairy and grain, fruit, and protein. So, some pretty good foods there. And they're pretty filling. So, these are some pretty good things that'll last a while food-wise. So, let's get into actually making the actual water tank. And as you can see, we've got a bunch of sticky resin once again. Over 3 stacks now. Now, the actual process of making this really isn't that bad. We don't need much sticky resin. Now, later on, once we get steel, we can get a better recipe. For now, it's a 1-to-1 ratio with just some iron rods. So let's get some of that. We've got 2 here. We're going to need 26 of these, I believe. So we're going to need a fair amount of these. Let's see. Was it 52, I think? So we've got 2, so we need 50 iron. Let's just make a stack, why not? Always good to have some extra. Let's see if I can find a file here. Oh, there we go. That's exactly 52, because that file broke, but let's make these anyways. So, 52. Sticky resin goes here. And the rest of this, we need just some planks. I need a little bit more. Now, with the amount of wood that I'm now getting from the crops out here, I've decided we don't really need to saw up the wood anymore. We just do this. It's not a big deal anymore. We've got so much actual logs coming in now. We don't need to get more planks out of them. Not for now, at least. So there we go, and I think it's a hammer in the middle. There we go. So that will give us our 26 water tank sidings, and that should complete the quest. So let's go set this thing up now. In fact, let's dump some of these things off as well. So, we're going to set this up on the roof because you cannot set this up inside. It has to be exposed to the sky because that's how it fills up on water. Now, the other thing this thing is going to be determined by is the humidity in your biome. Now, this was a big part of why I set up our base kind of in a humid area. We're in a 90% humidity biome in the wet river. Sometimes it goes up to 100. So, that's going to increase the amount of water that we actually get into this thing. So, what we're going to do is, I'm going to grab some fences here. And we're going to put it right up about here. So, let's see if I can see the chunks. And yeah, we should have just enough room right about here. So what we're going to do is I think we're going to make kind of a little, like, posts here. And then on top of that, we're going to build this thing. And it's just a simple 3x3 hollow in the middle. In fact, I'm going to need some blocks to build up with. So let's grab something from down here. That dirt's fine. And let's keep building this. There we go. So as you can see, it's already filling with water. And our current rate of water generation is 9.0, which is 22.5 liters per second. And once this gets up to 1,000, that should be enough for one bucket. And as you can see, it's going up. Now, it doesn't seem like we're getting a lot of water, but this is constantly running, so this is going to fill up eventually. It's going to go up fairly quickly. So this is quite good, but once we get to 1,000, we should be able to actually fill up a bucket with this. Just to test it. Almost there. Doesn't take too long. Yep, there we go. We can fill up a bucket, and you can put it back in as well. So let's see, how does that look? I think that looks quite nice right there. Yeah, it looks quite good. Now, the long-term plan I have is we're going to have to feed water into our small coal boiler to produce steam. So I'm personally thinking we're going to run a kind of a little water pipe back around here. And I'm going to have... I'm not sure if we're going to have one or two, but I might make it in the second one, but we're going to have them probably right about here, feeding down into here. And next time we're going to work on making this iron tank over here. And that's going to be used for storing steam. So we're going to have an iron tank right down here. And I'm going to have to probably set up some sort of kind of underground tunnels. Probably from down here. It's probably not going to be too difficult to. But that'll be kind of like for some piping and stuff that we're going to have to start doing. But I'm going to have some sort of an iron tank set up right around this area here. And then we're going to kind of feed that back along here, and we'll have some of our steam machines once we make them along here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. We're going to use this back area for steam. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at in terms of preparing for the steam age. We've got our water now, so we're now generating water. And what we can do is we can now grab a cauldron. I don't have to use any of those ponds anymore for that stuff. So what I can just do is I can come over here, grab the cauldron. Maybe even a crafting table as well we could make in case we need to do any sort of recipes. Let's see. Ooh, I didn't want to place you. Let's make a crafting table again. Because this is my personal one in my inventory in case I need to craft something. Yeah, so what we can do is we can just do something like this. As you can see, we're already up to 4 buckets, so it does fill up pretty quickly. But we can just use this. So this can be for like cleaning ores. This can be used for crafting with water if need be. So yeah, we've got a little nice area for water now, and this will just continue to fill up over time. So yeah, that's pretty good right there. We can claim the quest as well now. And we get... oh, we get 2 steam loop bags. That's pretty good. And we do get some of these wooden fluid pipes. So we can actually use that already to kind of move the water around. I need a wrench, though, to actually do stuff with that. Yeah, we can do that later. But yeah, we get some loot bags. So let's actually open some loot bags, because I do have a couple in here, and we can do that to kind of end off for today. Because now that we've sorted out our water situation, that's going to help us quite a bit. So let's do this fast food one first. Well, it's just some cooked chicken. Didn't get too much out of that. Stone Age loot bag. Ooh. Asparagus soup. Some gingered rhubarb tart. So not yet eaten that one. That one we have eaten, so that's alright, but it's still food. So there we go, we got some food, and now we get 3 steam age loot bags. Let's see what we get from these. So we got a furnace and a slimy sapling. Ooh, that's interesting. Not sure what that is. We got some potion of invisibility. Interesting. And, ooh, another brick bronze hole. We already got one of those. So we just got a second one. So that's quite good. Put the furnace in there as well, why not? So yeah, we've sorted out our water problems today. And we're kind of getting ready and getting closer to being able to actually do stuff in the Steam Age soon. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.